In continuing coverage of rising waters, rising concerns, we are finding out what some of you are doing to protect your property as the lakes continue rising. In this special report, Doppler 9 and 10 Chief Meteorologist Tom O'Hare takes you to a home north of Manistee that's in danger of falling into Lake Michigan.
I've seen the lake come up and go down.
Ken Orshal has had a connection to Lake Michigan his whole life. As a kid, his parents had a resort just north of Muskegon. He's seen these water levels before.
Obviously, I was alive in the 70s and the 80s when it was basically this level. And my parents even had to move two of their cottages back from the edge of the bluff to save them.
But when he bought this cottage just north of Manistee 11 years ago, he never could have imagined how the property would change, and change fast.
I think when we purchased the property, we had about right around 50 feet of beach when we purchased the property. And then when the lake was at its all-time low, we had 110 feet of beach, which was, 5 and 6 years ago. And the biggest thing that's surprising to me is how quickly this changed from the all-time low to the all-time high.
Let's put it into perspective. His daughter was married out there on what was once a beautiful beach.
They had pictures and stuff out here about 100 feet from the edge. Right now she'd be in water over her head.
It's like that up and down the coast. All this beach was once walkable. This bluff used to connect neighbors.
We could actually walk from here over to that stairway there. So and then this has all been eroded this fall.
What, if anything, can be done? Representative Jack O'Malley recognizes that this is a cyclical issue and is working to create a task force in Lansing. So when this happens again, we are prepared.
My analogy is it's like a leaky roof. Well, your roof is only leaky when it's raining. When the rain stops, you forget about it and you don't fix it, and then it rains again, and darn it, you got a leaky roof again. Why didn't I fix it? So what I am proposing is that we look at what we're doing here, what's working, what isn't working, what should we do for the future, because I contend that flooding in Michigan is a natural disaster emergency like an earthquake is to California and hurricanes are to Florida and the Gulf Coast. So it is not a matter of if we'll have flooding again, it's really a matter of when. So in using my analogy, our roof is leaking right now. Let's figure out how to fix it before we forget.
Meanwhile, Ken has added a seawall.
Mine saved the cottage. That's how it helped me. Had we not had this wall, I think we would have been in the process of moving the cottage back or losing part of the cottage.
He'll have to put in another wall to save his property. Some of his neighbors did that in the 80s, but sand buried them over the years.
Sand was washed in, sand was blown around, and the dune built itself back up over the top of the walls. And we used to walk the beach here, and you would never know anybody had a seawall.
So if and when he has to battle this problem again, he'll at least have a first line of defense due to the 2 seawalls he put in. Because this property is worth fighting for.
Well, along the Great Lakes, you take what comes along, and this is the second time I've been through this. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last time the lake level is going to change.
And the record levels continue. Lakes Michigan, Huron, we broke the record levels of February by about 5 inches. There are the old records right here. We're on track to break the record for March by about 4 inches. And the record breaking, it won't stop. It's expected to last through at least August.